Hello, welcome to the Boot Room. Andy, Warren and Stuart Watson here to look ahead to Ipswich Town's home clash with League One basement boys Crewe Alexandra. Stu, it's not been a great week for Ipswich. Losses at Sunderland and then at home to Rotherham. A rare Sunday game, the bottom of the league in town. There's a real expectation that this should be a comfortable victory for Paul Cook's side, isn't there?
Yeah, the pressure is on now for Ipswich, isn't it? Every missed opportunity ramps up the pressure on the games to come. The margin for error now is becoming increasingly small. So, for me, this is a must-win game now. Ipswich have left themselves with a bit of work to do, a bit of catching up to do. Crewe are bottom for a reason, and Ipswich need to beat them. Home wins in all competitions have been in short supply, really, for Ipswich. So, yes, let's see what they can do.
They have been 3 home league wins this season, all against teams in the bottom 4 as things stand. This would complete the set, wouldn't it, of 4 home victories, all against the teams in the relegation zone. But it's exactly what they need. The margin for error, as you say, is getting ever smaller, and they can't let opportunities like this go amiss. What are you thinking in terms of selection for this game? This is sort of the crux of the boot room, what it's all about. What are you thinking here? Because we've seen an Ipswich team be comfortably beaten by a very solid, very organised, but also very effective Rotherham team. How much does Paul Cook react to that and change things up for a game against Crewe?
I don't think it will be wholesale changes, but I think there'll probably be an element of wanting to freshen it up. Again, we talk about those front areas of the team. I think I've got 3 changes written down here, so I'll talk you through them. I've got Clements, Evans, and Selina to drop out, and I've got Penny, Edwards, and Aluko to come in. So that's the team I've got there, Andy.
We haven't talked about this before, but I think we're probably going to have the same team. Have you shifted a member of the front, the 3 behind Bonn, back into midfield to make this happen?
I have indeed, yes. I've got Scott Fraser dropping in because I want him in the team. But I'm not sure he's been particularly effective in one of those wide roles there. So I don't know if Evans has done enough to really nail down that spot. And that might be a bit of a statement to say that nobody's places can be taken for granted, particularly for this sort of game against Crewe, who are a possession-based side. I think, you could get away with having Scott Fraser. Those defensive deficiencies might not be exposed so much, and you can reap the rewards of his passing game from deeper. So, yeah, Donassian at right back, Toto and George Edmondson, who's been in top form at centre half. I've gone for a change at left back. I think Bailey Clements, as well as he did when chucked in at the deep end against Oxford, his performance levels have tailed off increasingly over the last few games. I thought Penny came on and, okay, his quality wasn't quite there, but at least he showed a desire to get some crosses into the box for Ipswich. And then top end of the team, I think they need a bit of pace and directness in those wide positions. I thought it looked, as you said, a bit one-paced and predictable with a sort of a series of number 10s in those attacking positions in midweek. Kyle Edwards came on and at least tried to get at people against Rotherham. And Sonny Aluko is back again. Obviously missed out in midweek, sadly, because his father had passed away. So I imagine those 2 on the flanks. I'll go with Chaplin as the 10 because I just think Bersant Selina has had 2 or 3 games where his quality has not quite been there thus far.
You're going to have to... I'll show you my little pad. I'll show you my pad, and it's the exact same team. There's one crossed out, and that is Evans, and I put Fraser in before we came on to start talking about this. And I think that's probably the Paul Cook thinking as well, because I don't think he wants to... I think he wants a midfield of Sam Morsey and Lee Evans, if he can, because they're the players he trusts. Paul Cook has spoken a lot about trust today in the lead up to this game, and he's used those 2 for years at Wigan, and he trusts them. But for the reasons you've just said, Stu, I think the temptation to maybe drop Fraser in there may be a bit too strong. Then we've each got Aluko, Chaplin, and Edwards behind Macaulay, Bonn, and I just think that 3, along with the change that we've both put in at fullback of Penny for Clements, just gives that team so much more balance in terms of the 2 flanks, the fullback and wide man combinations maybe complement each other a little bit more. There's certainly more dynamism in that three behind Bon than there was on Tuesday night. Chaplin at times, we were talking about him having nailed down that position, weren't we, before he got niggles of his own, some back spasms, and dropped out of the team. He's a clever player. He's a busy player, and he has probably done the best job of kind of linking up with Bon, I would say, over the course of everybody that's been tried in that role. So that three of Aluko, Chaplin, and Edwards feels balanced and dynamic to me. The only thing missing from it is Wes Burns, who we know is out. I think it's a hamstring injury for him. We're pretty sure he's still going to be unavailable. But if he was suddenly available, I'd have him in the side ahead of Aluko. But I like the look of the side that we've both stumbled across there, Stu.
It's like that moment on quiz shows or on Countdown where you have to hold up your pad to say, I did have the same workings out. Yeah. Prediction time then, I guess, Andy. How confident are you feeling? We've called it a must-win. Are they going to get the job done?
I think they will. I think they'll win this game fairly comfortably. I don't think we're in for a goal blitz like in the Doncaster game. I don't think it's going to be 5s or 6s, but I think Ipswich will win this by 2 goals. But I think I'll go for a 2-0 home win. Now you're going to tell me you've got the same prediction as well.
Slightly different. I've gone for 2-1. I think there might be moments where we're getting a little bit edgy and nervous during this game. Obviously, the pressure's on. Ultimately, I think they'll get the job done. Crewe have lost a hell of a lot of players over the last 2 windows, haven't they? Perry Young, Ollie Lancashire, Harry Pickering, Ryan Wintle, Owen Dale, Charlie Kirk, all those players that people will remember last season. Crewe obviously got promoted and did a really good job of finishing sort of mid-table and playing quite a nice, attractive, possession-based style of football. By all accounts, they're sticking to their principles, but they're doing it with lesser players. And I think this type of game is one that hopefully will suit Ipswich, where, you know, they seem to be better when they come up against a similar brand of football. You would imagine they're better players, they're more talented players, should get the job done in this one, but probably won't go a whole lot to changing the narrative. The 2 cup games that follow probably won't do a whole lot to changing the narrative, but just getting through these next ones, getting a few wins will certainly help the mood going into to the bigger games against Charlton and the like.